Hello, and welcome to today's episode of Pearls and Politics Podcast, where we are polished and poised for greatness and impact. My name is Kahala, and I'm your host. Well, you know, we love Black business here at Pearls and Politics Podcast and Black woman-owned business. So today, we have a dear friend of mine. We go way back. We have the designer of SPLATTE by Lisa J, none other than Lisa Johnson.
Hi.
Lisa.
Hi.
I'm so happy that you're here with us today.
I'm happy to be here.
I mean, we've been thinking about it and want to do it, and I'm just watching your business just grow, and you're so creative, and I just love your work. And I said, no better place than for my fellow Lincolnite to come on Pearls and Politics Podcast and talk all about herself and all about her business.
Yes. I'm excited.
Thank you. Yes. So we often talk about, and you know, she is an avid supporter of the platform. We thank you for that. We really appreciate it. Wow. But we always talk about how we know each other.
Yes.
So
as you stated earlier, we are fellow Lincoln Tigerettes from East St. Louis, Illinois, 89 blocks. And so that's where our friendship started. I believe I was a sophomore because then high school was 10th through 12th grade versus 9th grade. And you were a senior, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
And so you and your friends, your sisters now, because you guys have been friends for life. I remember the Silhouettes or something like that.
Yes.
So it started at Lincoln, and we got to know each other there, kind of like big sister to me then. And then later on in life, we reunited through family. Yep.
Absolutely. So I just, of course, think about all those days. I mean, I know it's not just me, some of the best days ever.
Yes.
From like we always talk about the East Side Lincoln games to the pom-pom squad to 1,000 different memories that we have from such an amazing childhood growing up in East St. Louis and graduating from School District 189. Like we are proud 189 graduates here on this platform. So you have done so much. So now we want to hear all about you.
All right. Well, to start professionally, I am an educator. I've been an educator for 18 years now. And I actually am an educator in the wonderful school district of East St. Louis, Illinois now, District 189. And so beyond that, I'm a mom. I have 4 daughters and 1 son. I'm a wife. Also, I'm a business owner. I have a small business, and it's called SPLATTE by Lisa J. And which that began pre-pandemic, but the pandemic afforded me the opportunity to actually to put things into fruition. So.
Absolutely. And we have one of your beautiful jackets behind us, the Savage jacket, and one of your hats. Yes. And so, of course, I am so happy to model one of your blazers today. Yes. Like, I just absolutely love it. And you as well. So tell us, like you said, it kind of started in the pandemic or before the pandemic, and the pandemic, the time that we all had to sit and think.
Yes, definitely the time.
a time of vision, right, where we had to be by ourselves or along with our families. And so many wonderful businesses have really just manifested from that time where people decided to take them lemons and make them into lemonade instead of being, bitter or just kind of sit and do nothing. Right. We decided to do something with that time. So please tell us, why did you even decide to go into business, or where did SPLATTE come from?
So for me, like I said, pre-pandemic, it was earlier in 2020. You have those moments where you feel like you've kind of accomplished the goals that people expect from you, graduating, having your career, your family. I had accomplished most of those. And so I was just talking to God and I'm ready to do something outside of education. I still want to be a part of education, but I wanted something that was for me, something I wanted to know where my gifts were, because up until then, everything I had done involved education. I had a nonprofit organization, EPIC, Educators Positively Impacting Our Community. But again, that was education. And so I wanted something that was outside of education, because I'm feeling left out. Everybody got something they can do. What can I do? And so that was the talk I had with God. Of course, nothing happened immediately. And then a vision came to mind, something fatigue and paint. What does this look like?
I love it.
And so the pandemic hit, and I was like, okay, I got time to go get paint. I know I got a fatigue jacket around here somewhere. And so I just played with it, sent it to a friend. I'm like, hey, look at this. And she's like, oh, that's dope. I liked it. That's mine. She liked it. And so I posted it. Mm-hmm. And after I posted it on social media, people were asking, oh, I want one. Can you do me one? And I'm hesitant because I'm like, well, I haven't tested the product yet. I don't know how durable it is. I don't want to sell something and your paint is crumbling off, the next day. But I also knew from experience, if you've ever painted something and got paint on your clothes,
it ain't coming out. It ain't coming out.
It usually doesn't come out. So I kind of knew that. But again, I wanted to test it for myself. And so really social media, once I posted that first jacket, support from our hometown, support from family out of town. It just kind of increased and kind of went from a hobby into a business. And so this is 2023. So we're actually 3 years strong. And in the midst of that, I opened up an Etsy shop in 2021, I believe. And so I actually was getting ready to close it. And I got my first order right at my year mark, and actually that has increased as well. So it's just the business has been going. There have been some hiccups, but I look at everything as lessons, and you learn from them, and you keep going. And I continue to pray. I can continue to talk to God about it, because a lot of times I'm like, I'm just done with this. When I finish these orders, I'm not doing any more.
Anything else. This is the last episode ever. Yes.
I'm like, I'm done. And so then that's me having my little temper tantrum, and God allows me to have it. And then he's like, okay, so you ready to talk now so we can work through this, And so.
Because quitting is not an option.
That's what we do. And so here I am,
So I love your story. And there's so much to unpack, right? Mm-hmm. So from a desire to do more. Mm-hmm. And I think that's one of the, if not the absolute place that entrepreneurship is birthed from, the desire to do more. Because yes, we have our 9 to 5s, and like we were talking off camera, and somebody tried to shame us for it. We're like, oh, we're moms and we're this and that. And we are so many things.
Yes.
And then one day you're just sitting and you're like, okay, what else can I do? Like, I've mastered this. I've got my doctorate. Right. I'm excelling in my career. Yes. Congratulations, by the way.
Thank you.
And so there are all these things. And so you're like, okay, but then you have that conversation with God, right? And you're like, God, okay, thank you. Like, I don't want to seem ungrateful. Like, thank you for everything.
Exactly, and it's that part.
Exactly. And you're like, oh, I know you. I know that's where your heart was. And, because that's where both of our hearts were. And you're like, okay, but there's more for me. I just know you have more for me.
That's exactly.
But I don't know what it is. And I know that if you're behind it, it will prosper. But if you're not behind it, it just might fail.
I'm not going if you don't tell me to go.
Exactly. So, and it's a desire to have more that ultimately trails down to your children, right? Because for me, it was like, okay, I want to build legacy, but I don't want to just do anything, right? Because I can't just be attached to just me and you, Jesus, can't be attached to just anything. So for you that's so inspiring to hear someone else say, like, I just wanted more. And so me and Jesus just sat down and had a conversation about it. And look, y'all look at this, okay? So where did the name, because I love it. It's a very unique spelling. And you are branded at this point.
Yes.
Like, people can distinguish a unique Lisa J from other things.
Yes.
So what was the impetus for that?
So again, this is during a pandemic, so it allowed me the time that I needed to brainstorm. And so, I have friends who are in business, and their business names, I'm like, that's a good name. How did they come up with that? And I'm like, again, I need something catchy, Lord. I'm like, I don't know. Give me something. And so at first I kind of didn't like the by Lisa J, but I'm like, it flows. It's like, it's Splat by Lisa J.
And it's you.
And it's me. And so I just took it and rolled with it. I really liked the Splat part because
I do too.
Most people say SPLATTER, and I just like the Splat part of it. So I'm like, I think that's it, and so that's what I did, and I rolled with it, and I like it.
I love it. I absolutely love it. And again, like I said, it's very identifiable because a lot of times people are scared to go into business for a number of reasons.
Yes.
There's the fear of the unknown.
Yeah.
Right? None of us have, like, I'm sure some people do, like some people got trusts and silver spoons and all that, but most of us do not.
Right.
And so there's the fear of investing what you do have, because you didn't say 20 years ago, you know what, in 2020, there's going to be a worldwide pandemic. Right. And so I'm going to save $10 a month until then. So that way I have some money invested to be able, so you're fearful of, okay, well, I don't have a whole lot to put into this. So I don't want it to fail, right? And so there are just so many things that you have to consider. Yes. And you were like, okay, all things considered, this is what we finna do. Yes. And your Etsy shop. Yes. So we gonna get into all of that. She gonna tell us how to, but I love that. Yes. And the fact that you were literally this close to saying,
oh, I was ready to close shop.
Forget it. And the Lord was like, okay, nope.
Because he knows he got to make it plain for me.
Okay, there you go. And now you're like, oh, my shop ain't closing. No. This ain't, we gonna keep. And that is just, I just love it.
Thank you.
I just love it. I just love it. So what inspires you? So like your jacket or the one behind you, what do you just like wake up? Does it wake you up in the middle of the, you know how some people wake up in the middle of the night? An artist brain, like I don't feel like I have a creative brain, but Chris always tells, but you understand that you're a content creator now. And I'm like,
okay, right. Like, and that's creativity.
Yes. So what inspires you?
So it's a good question because it's weird because I often say I follow a lot of other artists and I see a lot of people always create their canvas before they do it, but I've never done that. Like literally never done it. I visualize it like my very first jacket, besides the prototype or the sample, the one I made for my mom. It has the afro lady with the afro hair and the wording in it. It's kind of, sometimes I just sit and think about simple paintings because I'm not really an artist, but I am an artist. So some of the detail artwork is a little bit more difficult. But I just kind of think about what I want it to look like, you know, and then it comes down to how do I want to represent the brand, and then what's my audience? And so in the beginning, of course, I didn't think about any of that. I was just making jackets. But as it kind of went on, I'm like, oh, let's inspire. Let's bring it to the culture, you know, the Afro. That's natural hair. So that's a representation of us and women. I'm like, let's put some wording in it to inspire or just
I'm a savage. I love it.
And sometimes the customers help with that because I'm like, you know, they give me creative ideas, but genuinely I just wanted to use words that uplift, inspire, and just kind of tell the story of who the person is that wears the jacket. So.
Absolutely. Yeah. So I love the lips and the savage. Yes. And then I thought that was a beautiful jacket that you did for your mother with the afro. Yes. I've seen you do for the Divine Nine. Yes. I've seen you have that inspiration. Yes. And those are very nice. We need to talk about that. And then, but I also heard you say that there were challenges. Yes. As we all face as entrepreneurs and as women and as human beings, right? Yes. So the challenges that you face, you've already established that your faith pushed you through. Yes. But in addition to that, what were some of the challenges and how did you fix those? Like what tweaks did you make?
So a lot of them were really, a lot of the challenges had to do with just me taking the time out to invest in my business more. Because like I said earlier, it was easier because we were in the pandemic. And so I had a lot of time. We were working remotely. Then I'm off in the summers. But now we're pretty much back to regular schedule. So just taking the time out to invest in it, revisiting what's working this month and what's not working. Just that's really what it boiled down to because I lost that time. When I first started, I was able to sit down, map out my monthly calendar, go back and look at the orders, you know, see what were some of the customer concerns, reach out to the customers. I was able to do a lot of business-oriented things. But now that I'm back working, and going to basketball and going to baseball and taking kids to dances and outings and things of that nature, I'm juggling a lot of.
Well, so the investment part, I think that is what will touch a lot of the people watching and listening, because it's so hard to find the time.
It is.
Right. And, then for a lot of us, it's a funding issue,
yes.
right? Because you get to a certain level.
Yes.
And then you're like, okay, well, this is what I need to go ahead and push it further. But sometimes that's an issue. But I remember it was Brandy.
Okay. Yes.
And Kanisha.
Okay.
In two separate conversations. And I was talking like when I first started last year. And I was like, oh, well, I'm doing, the trademarking. And, I'm a lawyer all day long.
Right.
And so I'm like, I'm doing the trademarking and I'm doing this and I'm doing that. And I said, and, there's other things that I need to do. And, I got these kids and, blah, blah, blah. And Brandy just stopped me because she's a business owner. Okay. Right. And so she's like, broke money don't make money. She was like, you have to spend money to make money. You have to invest for there to be a return. That's and true. So it's not easy. Nobody, look at Pinky. Yeah. With Slutty Vegan.
Oh, okay, yes.
She started, she failed. This woman just...
And it's that part. You can't let that stop you.
Look at Tab.
Yes.
Target and this and hair products. And, it didn't start at Target, right? It didn't start with, slutty vegans all over. And to know that sometimes people have... It didn't start out the way you wanted it, but the determination, like you said, was made to keep going and then to find a way. Yes. So whether that means somebody like myself now that needs a social media manager.
Gotcha.
Because opportunities have opened up, but you got to post like literally every hour on the hour. Well, Monday through Friday from 8 to 4, I'm working, right? And yes, you can schedule. But when I get off at 4, I commute, and then I got 3 little people that's like, hey, girl,
how
was your day? And we need dinner, and we need schoolwork, and so it again goes back to, well, what am I willing to invest?
Exactly.
And so that is something that we love to talk about on this platform with business owners, because it's just like, well, what are you willing to do?
Yeah. What are you willing to sacrifice? Girls' night out or working on your business? You have to make those choices, or else you can't get mad at the results. So
exactly. Well, your results are speaking for themselves, young lady, and so I can't wait. So how do we commit? Because you obviously do commission work. You said sometimes your customers or your clients rather, they tell you, well, I want this type of inspiration, a Zeta inspiration or whatever. Yes. So how do we contact you for commission work or just for your pieces that you were inspired independently?
So you can reach me. I do have a website. That's www.splatbylysaj.com. Or you can reach me in my Etsy shop, which is Get Splattered. And so on each of those sites, there's some designs there already. And you can just kind of use that as your template. You can use your own wording. You can specify if there's some things you want to customize. Pretty much that's your go-to place. You can email and I'll contact you. That is one of the areas, though, that I am working on because I have fallen behind on the emails. But that is a really good start. So either my website or my Etsy shop. Those are 2 locations that you are able to purchase Splat by Lisa J attire.
Awesome. So it's only up from here.
Yes.
So is there anything you want to share about anything that might be up and coming before we close?
Not at the moment. I've actually just been trying to just pace myself. And like I said, trying to get back to, as you stated earlier, posting and just building my social media audience again, because I've kind of fallen off on that. So we don't have any we haven't done any pop-ups this year, unfortunately. Okay. But I'm thinking next year we're going to try to do some new things. So other than that, just look out for me on Instagram, Facebook, or Etsy. So.
Or walking around.
Yeah. Yes.
Just It might be a night out at the Drunken Fish, and you might see some Splat
by Lisa J.
By Lisa J at the table across from you.
Yes.
Well, I just adore you.
Thank you.
I do.
Vice versa.
I do. I just adore you. Like I said, it's been 30 plus years, and here we are. Would you have ever thought, walking the halls of Lincoln, we in Massenberg's class or in gym with Mr. Manley, that we would end up here talking about your amazing designs.
Yes.
And we are like mamas that we got like 10 kids between us and working and administrating and lawyering. Like, this is what it's about. Like, this is what East St. Louis is. This is what I want people to know. This is who we are.
Yes.
And I just love us and women and it's
definitely some gems coming out of those 89 blocks. So
absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely.
I love
Will you
my
come
city.
back?
Sure, I will.
We'll
Most
have to
definitely.
do like a runway type of.
Oh, that would be fun. Yes, that would be fun. Don't give me right ideas now.
Chris, you heard that. We gonna have
definitely
to do
will be back, and that's a great idea.
We'll have to bring
so
Everett with some bags and Splat. Honey, it's gonna be a whole thing. So thank you.
Yes, you're welcome.
Thank you.
No problem. This was fun.
It was.
Yes,
it was. And thank you so much for tuning in today to Pros and Politics Podcast, where we are polished and poised for greatness and impact. We hope you enjoyed today's episode and that you'll join us again next week. In the meantime, please like, love, share, and subscribe. And we'll see you soon. Bye-bye.